I think it's amazing. Like I've just realised when you were talking then, like how serious like bulimia is, how serious anorexia is. That and I think it's great, and obviously your choice to use the word recovered. Like that, I don't talk to that many people, maybe because they don't bring it up or whatever. But like that, where I feel like they're on the other side of that, because when people are in it, I feel like it's a proper war zone. So, like, how did you get out of that? I mean, the sort of extreme version of it. What's the way out? Because even on a personal level, I know people right now, and as I'm sure everybody does, and I thought I could solve it with charisma. Turns out to be quite a blunt tool.
That's a very big question. To be honest, I have never been able to put my finger on a kind of one size fits all. This is how you do it. I don't know why I would be able to do that. It'd be very arrogant to think that I could do that. But my recovery was jolted by kind of the same anger that I had mentioned previously. The good old rage. I hit a rock bottom in my anorexia, and it got to a point where I was just this destructive force to everyone around me, and I was hurting everyone I loved, and I had lost 2 years of my life, and I wasn't in school, and I'd lost my friends, and I was just destroying everything. And at that point,
how was your family?
Very, very supportive, but very lost in what to do. I kind of always say that my dad really saved my life. He was my driving force in recovery. He helped me more than any therapist ever did, because he listened patiently, non-judgmentally. He went out of his way to learn about things. He's a good egg. And it was him, seeing him destroyed, that kind of allowed me for small fractions of time to tap into that anger of, I can't believe this illness has done this. I had to separate it from myself at that stage, and see it as something that had kind of overtaken me, that I could turn into an enemy, that I could be angry at. So a common thing is shout back at the eating disorder. It becomes this voice in your head. It becomes just repetitive, constant, telling you what to do, telling you about yourself, governing everything you do, and shouting back at that is quite a common thing to use as a practical tool. And that did help me. And it was that anger of, I don't want this to take any more of my life. I actually didn't deserve this, and my family definitely didn't deserve this. No way am I doing this anymore. That kind of fueled me into taking the first bites, I guess, the first meals. And
that was very hard, was it?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard to explain. I had a friend a couple of years ago who is in recovery. She's doing much better now, but she once said to me that it genuinely feels like every time you sit down for a meal, someone puts their hand over your mouth. It feels like there is an external person covering your mouth so you cannot eat. It doesn't feel like a choice. That is the thing. That is what kind of separates an eating disorder from just body image issues or dieting. It doesn't feel like you have a choice anymore. You do. It's just buried. It's really buried under the eating disorder. So those first bites, denying the disorder, shouting back at the eating disorder, that anger, that propelled me. And that kept me going, and that kind of allowed me to recover to an extent. There's this very strange thing in the medical field generally, is if you have a restrictive eating disorder that has made you lose a significant amount of weight, as soon as you put weight back on, they like to say that you've recovered, or at least that's what they did to me. They were like, well, she doesn't fit the stereotypical image of anorexia anymore. She's good. She's all good. I wasn't, of course, because the physical is only such a small part of eating disorders. They're a mental illness. It's all it's in your head as well. So I didn't feel really recovered until all those years later, when I found body positivity and the fat woman in the bikini. But
do we know who the fat woman in the bikini is?
Yes, we do. She's one of my closest friends now. She's a woman called Danny, and she is a fat positive eating disorder recoverer, I guess. So
and mentor to you.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's someone who has always been fat. So she is, I don't know, I think about a size 22, and she had a restrictive eating disorder, but because of her size, no one ever took it seriously. She wasn't diagnosed. She didn't get the treatment she deserved, but she found her way out. And that's another fucked up thing about our kind of conception of eating disorders as a culture, that certain people are more worthy of treatment than others. And that it's because eating disorders have physical side effects that I think more so in terms of other mental illnesses, people will judge just on that. And that it's not how it should be judged. Absolutely everyone should get their treatment regardless of how they look.
You should be consulting for people that are organising the treatment. That's really good data.
Maybe.
That's really, really good data. That's really interesting.